G'day everyone, Alex here from Extac Australia, and today I've got a really cool knife to share with you. So this is the Benchmade large stiletto folding knife. This is a really traditional style pocket knife. Let's jump into some of the specs. So today I'm going to be reviewing it and just sharing some of the features around this cool little stiletto. So the knife is 6 inches overall. I shouldn't have said little, it's actually quite a large stiletto. 6 inches, quite a large thing to be carrying in your pocket. So if you're a fan of larger knives, this is definitely something you should look at. So the blade is 4.75 inches, and I'll just deploy it for you now. So to deploy the knife, they've got a fingernail cutout. Now, me being someone with absolutely no fingernails at all, I can still deploy this quite easily, which is nice to know in general. So have a look at the blade. It's got this really nice mirror finish, which I really like. Now, when I refer to traditional, it's mainly because of the lock system that this knife has. So it's not a liner lock, obviously not a frame lock. They've got what's called a lockback system. So once again, there's a really traditional way of locking your knives. Essentially, it's a button press, and I'm not sure if you can see it on the camera. Let's see if I can get it right in there for you. You'll see this little piece here pop open, which actually locks the knife up. So that's how the locking system works. Simply press that down and then fold it. So while you are retracting the knife back together, there are these essential artificial snap spots like this. So the reason why we have those in is just to give you a little bit more protection if you are holding the knife and you do fold it in. If you're unexperienced and you pull this back, it is going to just lightly snap, not completely snap. By all means, be very careful with this, but just lightly snap, just in case, for whatever reason, lack of experience, you've still got your hands in the worst possible place you could have your hands with a stiletto folding knife. So yeah, we've got that extra safety feature built in as well. So I'm going to completely close it there. Just snaps in quite nice as well. So let's just deploy the blade again for you so you can see. Now, one thing to note about this stiletto is it's got what's called a false edge, and the false edge refers to this side of the blade. So as you can see, this side is sharpened and this side is completely 100% blunt. There's a few different reasons for this. Number one is it just depends on where you live around the world. Sometimes having a dagger style blade, it's required to have a false edge. But in saying that, if you're going to use this as a dagger, an envelope opener, whatever you choose to use this stiletto for, it's extremely sharp, extremely pokey, and will still function like a dagger would. It just doesn't have that extra sharp end on this side of the blade. Now, lastly, for the blade itself is they've got what's called a fuller. So a fuller is, well, it used to be referred to a blood groove, but it's just not what these are actually used for in general. It's essentially to lighten up the blade rather than whatever a blood groove would do. So the blade is lightened up lightly on both sides, just take a little bit of weight out really. Okay, so let's go back to the handle, because when it comes to, an old school style pocket knife like this, that's one thing that I really like to look at is just what's going on with the handle. This is really cool. They've got this awesome, just straight up classic black wood slabs put on, and they've also got these cool brass bolsters as well. So a bolster is designed to reinforce the actual blade itself, and it's also creating a, as you can see with the design, see how it's kind of like a step down design. It's essentially, aesthetics and just to smoothen out the transition from the blade to the handle as well. And that's why it does have that step down design like I mentioned. Now, the last function of the bolster is just to stabilize the weight. Because we're using wooden handles and this stainless steel blade, if I just let the blade kind of lightly push forward, it wants to be forward heavy. So to have these brass holsters in the center and at the back, it's going to kind of neutralize the weight as much as it possibly can, giving the knife a little bit more balance. So yeah, pretty interesting stuff. So there it is, guys. This is the Benchmark large stiletto folding knife. If you're a fan of classic knives or you want just, kind of a classier looking piece, this is definitely something you should take into consideration. I think this knife's really, really cool. Thanks for watching. See ya.